So here we are. Here's the merch bag. It's a product placement, whatnot, whatnot. I guess we gotta get spammed even though we're paying money. This is Magic 30. Their Magic 25 playmat was a foil hologram Black Lotus that was classy on a black background. I guess now they need to, represent diversity and inclusion and put rainbows all over the place because, I don't know, that's Watsi in 2022. I mean, we gotta kiss people's butts and always, care about everybody's values and whatnot and forget about actual, fantasy and imagination and dragons and whatever the hell is in there. And what else? I think they gave us some cards. Gave us some stuff. It's like, oh wait, what couldn't we sell? What couldn't we sell? There's a bent, look at this is a bent Arcane Signet. It's literally bent. Richard Garfield, 30th anniversary. I guess they gave us a lanyard, mystery booster pack, Dominaria United, and that's it. That's it. I don't even know if I care to exchange the bent Arcane Signet, but yep. This is what I bought a ticket to Las Vegas, airline ticket to get. This. Actually, it's about gathering with buddies. It's a lot more important than this cash grab bullshit. All right. Welcome to FaBled Hunters.
I'm Yuanji.
I'm Saint.
And welcome to another episode of
Last Month Today.
Alright, it hasn't been as many crazy moves in the TCG space as there were the last couple months. No major acquisitions. But there are a lot of stuff. And even though this is a Flesh and Blood channel,
yep,
I think it's good to keep an understanding or a perspective on the greater trading card game community and things that are happening in general.
Yeah, if there's one episode, this would be it.
So I think we are first going to kick off by kind of seeing what's going on in the other TCGs as of recent. So I think it's towards the end of the year, so there's a lot of kind of end of year, either celebrations, tournaments, as such. In Magic the Gathering, they just held their 30th Magic 30, which is a convention that they held in, I think, the Las Vegas Expo Center.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I was there.
So let's first go over what was your personal experience at the event, and then I'll from the outside experience.
Well, first off, as of November, as of the event, the mask mandates were lifted for already multiple months in Nevada, especially in Las Vegas. And they still wanted proof of CDC vaccinations, plus they wanted you to wear masks.
Yeah.
Plus they were just kind of dickish at the gate. And then day one, I heard lines were up to about 4 hours long because they were literally checking vaccinations and, making sure everybody had masks and checking for tickets right then and there. And that just killed about half of the first day. So I didn't even bother going on Friday myself, and I just heard and I saw from different short clips that it was a little bit of a clusterfuck. So we decided to, I went with a group of about 25.
Yeah.
We decided not to attend for Friday. And then when we actually went on Saturday, it was a little more lax. They checked our stuff up in front. They checked for our passes, our tickets. And, for $269.69, I got me a Sapphire pass.
You got a Mock Sapphire reprint?
Yes, a Mock Sapphire reprint. Oh, that's what it is? Oh, yeah, I guess so. And then, they followed up their amazing 25th anniversary playmat with this monstrosity right here. Now, I have nothing against diversity. I have nothing against inclusion, but what the hell does this mean? Where in the lore of Dominia or Dominaria does this come up? And Watsi is now sticking rainbows and minorities and everything, just to beat their chest, beat that drum, and show that they don't want to offend anybody, and I don't know, they're sorry for 400 years of systemic oppression and racism, I guess, or something.
I think we talked about this during our Magic 30th PAX, and it's kind of like you have to like actually be doing something if you want to.
Absolutely. If you want to engage the LGBT community, like sponsor a float, go to a parade, go to a protest. If you want to help out minorities, do a charity drive with the NAACP. Don't just stick it on a playmat, stick it in conveniently every single attendee's swag bag. Like, we're going to talk about Fab later, but for Fab Worlds, look what happened there. Like, this shows care. This shows buildup. This shows thought. They were promoting the Emperor. His corpse is right there. They were promoting the Emperor for, like, at least months since Lille, right?
Yeah.
Which was, I think, in August. Is it right? I think late August was Lille, right? Since the second Pro Tour, they were promoting the Emperor. That's the Emperor's corpse right there. This is regicide. This was, revealed just days before Worlds. And James White himself engaged a line of fans, and he spent about 3 to 5 minutes with at least 200 fans every single day of Worlds. And he gave them this free playmat. This was not announced. This was just, released day of. And that's his signature right here. And this was equal opportunity for everybody. We're not the biggest content creators, but every single content creator, no matter how big, had to wait in line. I waited 1 hour one day before getting cut off, then 2.5 hours the next day to get this. And that's the difference between flesh and blood and whatever this is supposed to represent right here. So, anyways, back to Magic 30.
Yeah, so from the outside looking in, I was reading a lot of tweets kind of about the event. It was like right before Flesh and Blood Worlds. I was just curious to get a pulse of what was going on, and the overall sentiment that I got was that obviously there's a lot of people who are very invested in Magic and who really enjoy the game, but I think overall the vibe was that the event was mismanaged. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of halls that were filled with people, like hallways, because the halls you have to like pay all this money, you get the passes, you have to get like a $200 pass to be able to play Commander.
Yeah.
And so like their entire Commander zone is empty. They just ended up using it for like tournament overflow. The tournaments were like not announced that they were filling up.
Okay.
And so it's just like overall, it's just like a...
I mean, that makes sense. Like, I had to pay almost $300, whatever it is, $259, $269, $279, whatever it is, just to attend the event. And then what? I had to pay more money, more hundreds just to play? Magic used to be a free game. You could just play it on the floor, and you didn't have to pay, little entry fees. You didn't need to pay to play, right?
Yeah, and I think I get the idea behind like if you go to Gen Con, Dragon Con, whatever, like these conventions, you pay an entry pass, but then you're also paying for kind of like access, like early access to like new games, to like these things. Whereas I think for something like this, it was just more seen as being like, hey, like we're just charging you money because we can.
Yeah, because we can get away with it.
Yeah, and like what we're offering you is just like we're just giving you like a building to play in. Like it's really not anything more than that.
Yeah.
If you're just going there to play Commander, right? Like
absolutely,
they just have tables. Like
and then $200 to have a not very comfortable table to play against your opponent with very limited prize support. Who wants to support a business like that? Okay. Teams, instead of playing Arena at home, you can spend money to come to Las Vegas and play Arena at the 30th anniversary event.
I'm surprised they don't have like this in paper, dude. Like, what? Like, they did a big hullabaloo about doing it in person, and like it's not in paper.
Yeah, why are they making an event on an online portal at an in-person event? Doesn't that not make sense? And people are lined up. It's like, let's watch people play Arena.
Moving on from Magic 30, but still Magic related. This is actually very recent. Rudy just did a video on this. Kind of rare that he films a video and posts it the same day. But Bank of America recently did kind of like a deep dive on, I guess, like Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. And so they were analyzing, originally they had, I think, rated Hasbro as being like a buy, and they had a target price of, I think, around $72.
Well, yeah, Rudy wanted to tell everybody exactly how he felt, and I would imagine if I had $1 million or more in Hasbro stock, I'd kind of be a little upset myself.
Yeah, so Bank of America recently just downgraded. So most of the time when stocks get downgraded, you just like go from like buy to like a hold.
Buy to hold? Yep.
Yeah, but they went from a buy to a under.
Dumpster fire!
Yeah.
No!
So you gotta.
The sky is falling!
Yeah.
Sell!
Yeah, and so we'll just read.
I mean, it's kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
It went from like 70 some odd dollars, and now it's a recommend 42.
Yeah, 42.
And it's at 57 as of the filming of this video, which is, it just beat its former year low of like 59.58.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going places, Hasbro, just not in the right place. And I'm so glad that the viewers, the loyal Patreons of FaBled Hunters had encouraged me to make that video.
Yeah.
We are definitely not a Magic channel. We are an anti-Magic channel. Well, I don't want to say anti-Magic. I don't want to piss off the nerds that, are super, the Hasbro sycophants. But we wanted to introduce a community outside of Magic, and we wanted to encourage people that still liked what Magic used to be about to come into Fab. And again, I wanted to just thank the community, the Patreons of FaBled Hunters, for encouraging us to make the Hasbro 30th Collector's Edition video.
Yeah.
Because that has given us probably the most views of any video in our history. But it really came from the heart. And I hate to say I told you so, but we kind of been telling you so for like 2 years.
Yeah, so let's just read like a quote. Says the firm, which is just I think Bank of America.
Bank of America
said that it had spoken with several players, collectors, distributors, and local game stores. Has become aware of a growing frustration with the trading card game that accounts for roughly 15% of Hasbro's revenue and 35% of its EBITDA.
Yeah, EBITDA, profitability, basically.
Yeah, profitability.
Over 1/3 of all of Hasbro's profitability comes from the 15% of sales, which is Magic the Gathering. And that means that it beats out Barbie, it beats out Transformers, it beats out whatever other Dungeons, I don't know. Dungeons and Dragons is part of WOTC, but
like
it beats out Monopoly, everything else in the toy biz. It's probably the most lucrative IP that it has, and it's ruining it right now. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, so it says 7 of the last 8 major Magic releases have declined in value, and Hasbro continues to reprint its most successful sets, driving prices down further. Our store checks have also found that many national retailers are cutting Magic, and those that continue to carry it are heavy with aged inventory. And you can kind of see this, I think, if you go to, I recently went to like Walmart or Target.
Yeah.
You can like see on the racks, like a lot of the products that are clearly bad, like I think they have like theme packs or whatever they're called, where it's just kind of like garbage bulk that you can buy for $10. Those are the only things that they kind of stop.
Yeah, they're just collecting dust. Magic product is collecting dust, and the reprints, people want to abolish the reserve list. Here you go. This is what's about to happen once you violate the reserve list or the spirit of the reserve list. And on top of that, you've got a bunch of puppets like Gavin Verhees, who's trying to stand up for the community. You've got Mark Rosewater, who's like, oh, the spirit of the reserve list. We will never do any reprints. No functional reprints in regular card size. And he violates it. And then you've got the CEO up top doing such a great job in this past year. Chris, you bag of cocks. Chris Cox, the CEO of Hasbro, like running the shit into the ground. Good job, bag of cocks. Can you choke on that bag of cocks? Anyways, this is all expected because if anything, these are patterns that could be predicted. You saw them lie about Ultimate Masters. You saw them lie about, before that, the Mythic editions where they actually released that first box topper It's like, oh, this has never been done. It'll be never done again. Only 2,000 box toppers or 2,000 boxes of box toppers. They did it again in Ultimate Masters. They did it again in Double Masters, and they've done it every single goddamn set. That's why, like they said, 7 out of 8 past sets aren't selling. They're losing money.
Yeah.
Consumers are tired.
And I think the main takeaway for me is that these are things that I think if you follow TCGs, if you follow the game, you can kind of you would have seen this coming ahead of time. And basically, Wizards of the Coast sells to its like distributors and to the stores. Like those are its primary customers, not the end users. However, when you constantly are in talks with people who run LGSs, when you like look at the state of the secondary market on TCG Player and such, when you see that every single set that gets released, the boxes are worth less than distributor prices.
Yep.
Like, that means that people are fire sailing. Like, they don't want to hold on to this product. They're just kind of locked in.
And once you have that negative feeling of taking a loss after your investment or after your inventory accumulation, the very next time, they're still going to have that memory. They're going to have that negative experience, and that's going to reinforce wave after wave, item after item. And I mean, I think there was definitely a diagram showing Watsi printing, I think, 70 different unique sets when including
like different
secret
SKUs,
layers. Yeah, 70 plus just for 2022. Whereas back in the days, it was 4, 5, or 6.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, like, you run a business, like, how long would you continue, like, let's say you paid for a product or a service for your business, and then this time the product is bad, like, it doesn't sell, it loses you money, and then the company is like, oh, don't worry, the next one will make you money, and then you buy it and it loses you money. Like, how many times are you going to continue to be like a sucker?
No, let me give you a quick example. I think, I was there. I think the year was 2018, though. In 2018, one large financial switch, let's just think about it like an electronic bank that had agreements with a major bank. They double billed their customers, meaning there were hundreds of thousands of business owners that used their service. They double billed their customers, and instead of apologizing and making a big release, they actually just said, oh, well, let's wait for the customers to respond. Mm-hmm. And if they complain hard enough, we will give only those customers a refund. Within 3 months, close to 40%, I think it was 37 or 38%, within 3 months, canceled. They literally terminated their services. They didn't give a crap that they signed contracts, 3 to 5 year contracts. Almost 40% terminated their services. And with more later on. I stopped paying attention because I was not the one that made that call. There was a bank up top that I had worked for that made the call, and I was the one that, I'm not going to say blew the whistle, I alerted them to it, and I was like, this is a bad idea, guys. But you know what? You write my paycheck. What do you want me to do? I'm just telling you, you guys should do something about it. Like, no, we already got the money. It's okay. It'll work itself out in the end. And it sure did. They lost almost half their customer base, and their stock prices, of all entities involved, took a hit. So,
yeah. So I think just in general, these are things that you can kind of like see ahead of time. Brand building is pretty important, and I think that is the main message that we've been kind of talking about with regards to Flesh and Blood compared to Magic, how they've kind of been handling their business. I mean, it's really simple. Other content creators have said this. James White, every single day of Worlds, he stood up and engaged his closest, most loyal fans. Sure, I waited in line for hours, but he was there shaking hands, talking about life, talking about Flesh and Blood, and engaging the player base and giving them something for free. He was bringing value. Mm-hmm. He was making stories. He was changing people's lives, right? Imprinting them with a positive memory. Do you see Chris Bag of Cox doing anything like this to engage the fans of Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast? I don't think so. I just don't. Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm sure most of the people who are calling the shots now at Wizards of the Coast, just like they don't play the game. They don't have anything to do with trading cards.
Yeah, the CEO can choke on a bag of cups.
Wanted to move on from Bank of America news. So I wanted to spend some time kind of talking about, I guess, like tournament attendance in general.
Yeah.
And with kind of like comparing, contrasting the different game companies' attitudes towards organized play.
Yeah.
So it caught my eye. I think I follow Yu-Gi-Oh! Like a little bit, just as like some background research to kind of keep up with things. And YCS, which is kind of their version of the calling.
Okay, YCS.
YCS in Pasadena, California, had over 1,800 attendance, and I was like, whoa, that's a lot of people.
That's pretty solid.
Even when I was playing an MTG, like pre-pandemic, at like the height of like when Modern was really popular, unless it was like in Las Vegas, like the Las Vegas GPs were crazy, but most like GPs capped out at around like, I think the really big ones were like 1,500 people.
Okay.
So that kind of caught my eye. And I did some research, and recently they had another YCS in Dortmund in Germany, which was over 2,500 people.
In Germany?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, most of the German events, I think, have historically had like a really high attendance. I think there's just a lot of people who are into Yu-Gi-Oh! In, what's it called? In, in Europe in general.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So I think it's really cool to see, even though I've heard that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitive scene isn't too thrilled with the game in its current state. It shows that organized play is really thriving. At the latest Flesh and Blood Worlds, there was, I'm trying to remember how many, I think I heard like over 1,400 unique entrants in between the calling and the and the worlds,
and then there's a battle hardened too, right?
Yeah. Just like I think the enthusiasm for organized play is really there. Even I think at Magic 30 there were a lot of people who came to play games.
Yep.
I think that ultimately, if you're a game company that tries to de-emphasize the importance of giving people like outlets to get together and play games,
Yep.
you're kind of not really listening to your audience.
Well, not only that, they terminated all of their professionals. Magic did, right? In the middle of the pandemic, they basically just fired every single MTG player or MTG pro on the circuit. That's like, you're the mayor of the city of Rome and the entertainment are the gladiators in the Colosseum, and you just you just fire all your gladiators and say, you guys are out of a job. No more fighting lions, no more competing, no more, entertaining the masses. And that's it. That's like League of Legends basically telling all of their competitors, oh, we're disbanding the league. Like, how do you think that would fare for casual game sales, right? Is that going to sell more skins? Is that going to sell more downloads? Of course it isn't, right? And they did that to save money. I mean, they weren't thinking of the after effects, that
the long
buzz, that
effects.
marketing, exactly, that maintaining these events actually helps the continuity of the game and raises awareness of the game.
Yeah.
And long term will lead to more people buying boxes and buying packs. But they were only worried about, what their quarterly earnings were, because the company is being managed by a bag of cocks. So, yeah.
That reminds me, you reminded me, I saw a funny interaction. So this was also when I was doing some research into Yu-Gi-Oh! Team APS, who are a bunch of pretty funny content creators in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Space.
Oh, yeah, they do the skits, right?
They do skits, they do kind of serious game discussions. They do quite a big range.
Yep.
I think they have this one pretty cool segment. I think it's called like Larry in the Hole, where this guy Larry goes into like a store and he tries to he has like a budget, and then he buys like product or like whatever and tries to make it so that like he turns a profit or or it's just like that kind of like experiment. Like, can I like keep it rolling?
Okay, like the professor and his pack opening experiment, right?
But in any case, I saw a really funny tweet from them. I used to think that all Yu-Gi-Oh players were united in their hatred of Konami until I saw Magic 30th packs.
Yeah. I'd say this is a watershed moment for Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, but not for any good reasons. And I don't know if it's too late for them to correct course. They've shat the bed on events. They've shat the bed on their organized play. They've shat on their players and their collectors, and they've basically dissipated any concept of community whatsoever. So the 30 years that it's taken for Magic to develop, within about 60 days, these past 60 days, they've done a pretty good job at wrecking it all. And I'm not here complaining, as, likely one of the largest holders of vintage Magic cards on the planet. I want to just take this moment to respond to all the naysayers and haters from the other videos. I would truly love, it would make me happy and bring me infinite satisfaction if all of my vintage cards went to zero. Because your Lilianas would have gone to zero first, your Tarmogoyfs would have gone to zero, your Caverns of Souls would have gone to zero, well before any revised Unlimited Beta, Alpha, or Horseman cards go to zero. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And we have an awesome game made by Legend Story Studios called Flesh+Blood that's welcoming everybody right now.
Yeah, I think it's just hopefully it's a sign, I think, for all of the game publishers to kind of take a look at, and to maybe it'll change some of the opinions for some of the higher ups if they're like kind of paying attention that organized play and just like providing people outlets to play the game in general is really like the core of your business model. Like you can do fancy cards, you can do like this, that, but like ultimately like you're making a game.
Yeah, speaking of shit shows and executives paying attention.
Yeah.
And publishers.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of Metazoo?
You had a message. We want to end strong.
Yeah, the Metazoo seance debacle. Have you heard about it?
No, I haven't.
So, okay, the cards in the new set are printed such that like the chase card are like the FaBled card of Metazoo. I don't follow or care about Metazoo enough, but this is a general TCG update. Like, let's say there's this Charizard, or I guess they would call it a Mothman, or like the Blue Ox pack art. If that pack art has the big hit in the box, that means in every single other Metazoo Seance box, that big hit will be in that same Mothman or Babe the Blue Ox pack. And not only that, it's track printed, so in a pallet, if there's like 200 boxes, those 200 boxes might only have 5 to 10 big hits. If you space it out and you extract all the big hits, then that means the other boxes are barren from those big hits.
Wow.
Like, if you've got 200 boxes and you take out, there's 20 FaBleds in the pallet. You could literally track down the 20 FaBleds and sell the 180 remaining boxes. So speak of not paying attention. It's like, good job, Metazoo Mike. That's amazing. That Goldman Sachs pedigree is truly paying off. What execution. Round of applause, Metazoo Mike and Metazoo. It's amazing. At $140 MSRP, they managed to tank their current market price of their newest set down to $88. I mean, I can't say I don't own a card of Metazoo because I bought the Rudy kits. I only own about 4 rather valuable Metazoo cards, but thank God I don't have more exposure in that shit show of goddamn dumpster fire game.
All right.
That's your Metazoo half minute. Wait. I said, I don't know. Wait, is that the Tons? He doesn't even know it's his booth. It's the Tons. What up, Tons? What up, Tons? Bring it in. It's the Tons. Came here to see him at his booth. He's vending.
We got new cards.
New cards?
More cards,
Cards.
cards,
Cards.
and more cards.
We got old, we got misprints, and we got old cards.
Guys still on dual sense?
Hey. No, bro. Not yet. Almost. We keep buying more, so.